Hello, I'm Jason Crouch, a librarian at the Special Collections and Archives for Texas State University at the Alkek Library in San Marcos, Texas. This week is homecoming on campus, culminating with a homecoming game against the Troy University of Alabama. Today, however, we will celebrate a different variety of homecoming, welcoming two alumni from the university's past, when it was still known as Southwest Texas State University.
Yes.
Will you please welcome Vicky Coffey and Arlen Pace? They were undergraduate Bobcats in the mid-'80s when this campus was expanding at a rate comparable to what we are experiencing today. At the halfway point of the 1980s, 20,000 students attended Southwest Texas. Today, the university is attended by 40,598 Bobcats.
Wow, that's a lot.
Texas State is a minority-majority institution with a remarkably high female-to-male ratio. Lots more lady Bobcats. So in that regard, you could call these two ladies trendsetters and maybe influencers even.
We'll take it.
So, welcome to the Alkek One Alias Theater. And thank you for coming to visit with us today and talk about your experiences at Texas State University when it was Southwest Texas.
Yes.
And we'll talk about some of your memories about attending school in San Marcos, culminating with the event that brought you all to my attention as officers of the Association for Black Students and participants in a concert that took place at Strahan Arena, not as singers or performers, but as hosts to a very young Whitney Houston when she performed there on October 13th, 1985. Wow. So welcome to campus, ladies. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks.
Homecoming indeed. Well, tell us a little bit about your home communities and what drew you to Southwest Texas at that time in the mid-'80s. Arlen, you arrived first. You want to kick it off?
I will. My name is Arlen Pace, and I'm from San Angelo, Texas. Grew up in San Angelo and always wanted to go to university with a kind of a small town feel. My mother and my father and I looked around and thought about going someplace to Abilene because that was close to San Angelo, or even Angelo State. And my mother convinced me that it would be a good idea to move away, kind of get your bearings and see what college is really like when you're not so close to home, live on campus and be able to function on campus. So we found Southwest Texas State University, and it was the perfect fill. I think when I got here, it was probably about 18,000 students. Everybody that I met when I came here was from a small town, like San Angelo was not a big city like Dallas or Houston, and it felt comfortable. It felt like this is kind of where I could thrive and be comfortable and adjust from being away from home. So that's how we came. That's how I came to Southwest Texas State University. So.
Vicky?
Yes, I'm Vicky Coffey, and I'm originally from Blanco, Texas, which is not very far from San Marcos. It's in the beautiful Texas Hill Country. And I made my way to Southwest Texas State because my sister was here. And she was a junior when I came. And so I would come and visit her as a high school student, and fell in love with the campus, fell in love with the culture, and decided that this was where I wanted to go to school. So it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Pretty easy decision.
And what is Blanco like?
Blanco is a very small, rural Texas town. Not that rural, but my graduating class had, I think, 44 people in the class. Not real culturally diverse. The name Blanco kind of fit for the culture. So coming to Southwest Texas State was really nice because I was able to see a diverse group of people here, and I really liked that as well. Not being the only black student like I was at home in my high school and elementary through high school class. So very, very different than here.
And at the time, you say your fellow students did come from not just the Valley or not just Houston, but, smaller, even, rural communities.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. San Angelo is kind of a mid-sized city as West Texas is concerned, but it has a small town feel, and that's what I felt here. But a lot of people we ran into, especially the African American students, all came from smaller places. So that was another thing that brought us together, provided some kinship with relationships, because it wasn't, and there were people from Houston and Dallas also, but there was always a kinship of those people who were from smaller places like Giddings and like you say, Blanco and other cities that had that kind of family feel. And I think that's what bonded us together as the African American community was.
Excellent. Well, tell me a bit more about, the feeling of community as far as, locations on campus where y'all would gather. And there were some that were bring back fond remembrances, such as
the wall.
the wall.
The wall. It was outside of Flowers.
Yep.
And the wall had kind of generated itself about the place where the popular people were, and you couldn't just go and sit on the wall. You had to kind of be invited. And a lot of the popular kids, a lot of fraternities and sororities would be there, a lot of football players, people who, like I said, had earned the right to be on the wall. So it was a big deal. Sometime when I was a freshman, me and my roommate were scared to walk by the wall because there were so many people doing so many things. But it was kind of a sense of community and communication. It was, you had to have a right to be there. And probably the end of our freshman year, we got invited to sit on the
Yeah, I think it
wall.
was generally upperclassmen a little more too, right?
Yeah. The more established
Yes.
students. So we were kind of afraid to do that, but I thought if we don't do it today, we're never ever going to do it, and we probably won't do it again. Right. So we better take this opportunity. So it was the meeting place. It was kind of the central focus for, again, a lot of the African American students. And not only were there students on campus, but there were students that commuted back and forth. So that's how we got to know and see those students too, who didn't always live on campus.
Right.
So that was
upperclassmen.
Upperclassmen,
Right.
yeah.
And the campus was so much smaller than it is now. I mean, just stepping onto the campus today, it was like, oh my gosh, this is huge. It's its own city. But the campus was a lot smaller, a lot more quaint than it is now. And so places like the Quad, we would hang out, the Student Center.
Right. Yeah.
Jones Cafeteria, which we noticed has a little bit different name, but that was quite the hangout, because back then if you had a meal plan, you could go in and eat all day and, same price. And so people would just go and hang out in the cafeteria after class or in between class as well.
So we had to go to Jones on the weekend because Commons, where we were, was closed.
Yeah.
So that was always a big deal. Like, who are we going to see in the
At Jones.
cafeteria?
On the weekends.
Yeah.
Jones was a little more happening, I think, than Commons. It's kind of like if you wanted to chill and eat in peace, you could go to Commons. But if you wanted to go hang out and see the different
what's
people
going
there and
on.
see what's hot, and that was the place to go. So,
What about the fire station?
oh gosh, the firehouse.
Firehouse.
The firehouse was part of Central, right? It was where after every football game or at some basketball games, everybody would pull up to the firehouse, have their, cutest clothes on that they could wear and spend their last little change on and just party and sweat like pigs. It was terrible. But it was so much fun. Like, everybody wanted to be there, and that was kind of the place to be as well.
was.
To hang out, listen to the latest music and just party.
Was
Be
there
college
like a regular
students.
DJ that would do it, or did people
There were
take
different
turns?
DJs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people would bring their own
Yeah.
little setups, and I know sometimes we could walk there, but if
Yeah.
it got too late, we would not walk there. But I know a few times when we were at the wall, hearing what was going on, there would be a party, and somebody, y'all going to the party, y'all going to the party, and then, well, we don't know, we don't have a ride. Well, I'll come get you, and we kind of know who this person is.
Right.
We've
Yeah.
seen them before.
Right.
So we would get in the car between the albums and the turntable and everything else and go to the firehouse and enjoy ourselves for the evening. So
Dancing.
dancing,
yeah.
yeah.
Never live music, just DJ.
Always a DJ.
Yeah,
Yeah,
always a DJ.
Always a DJ.
Yep.
So that was
Lots
a lot
of
of fun. Yeah.
It was.
I think
Everybody, even people that didn't go here, knew
Right.
where the firehouse was.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'd get people from like UT that would come and party at the firehouse. If it was a big one, especially fraternity that would be throwing the party, then their
Word
fraternity
spread.
brothers from Austin, from UT, would come and hang out. So,
That's true. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit about the Association for Black Students, how you were invited on, kind of the legacy of that club on campus. Because it kind of came out of an earlier organization.
An earlier
right?
organization, it was called UMOHA, and that was meant unity. And one of the campus advisors, Mr. Tucker, Kenny Tucker, was always trying to incite us to start an organization because there were sorority. Well, there weren't sororities, active sorority when I was here. There were active fraternities and little sister organizations. But if you weren't inclined to be part of those groups, he thought it would be a good idea for students to come and just be students and kind of add. I'm kind of mixing my words up there, but kind of be supporters of the university, supporters of each other, and have an organization that brought even the African American students closer together. So he encouraged us to start an organization like UMOHA and bring more unity to the campus and have more understanding of other Black events and be able to share those with the students on campus. So that's how it started. It was a very small group as it started, and it began to kind of ebb and flow like most organizations do. But we had a lot of interest,
Yeah.
and after we were probably established maybe 1 or 2 years and started to do campus events, we were able to kind of really connect with the university and get their support financially and to do other things that brought students together and have a presence on campus. So,
Well, there was probably regular opportunities as I think it was probably by the end of the 70s that Black History Week evolved into Black History Month as we
Yes.
recognize it now.
yes.
And in some of my research I saw, or perhaps you mentioned that during the month of February, y'all would have events, maybe small events, but events daily. And that probably provided, more opportunity to kind of network and
Right.
share out your
Yeah.
club.
And partner with other organizations on campus also. So that's not just that organization would do things, but we would kind of spread the wealth and recognizing other student organizations. So.
Right.
I know kind of during my era, Earl Mosley was our sponsor, kind of like Mr. Tucker was for a while. And he went on to just really mentor a lot of students, a lot of Black students over the years through just his work in partnership with them and with the campus. He was a sponsor for us, and there always seemed like people kind of came and went throughout the organization in terms of the adults. And we laughed because we're thinking they're older. They were probably like 25 or 30 or something, but they seemed so much older than us and
wise.
And wise. And so we would just
Wise.
listen to
Wise,
everything
yeah.
and follow their guidance on how to keep this going and the importance of why we needed to stay unified on campus.
Earl was a big factor.
He was a
in
big
that,
factor.
yeah.
Michelle
He was.
Alexander, I think.
I think you're right.
And
yeah.
Anthony Jemison. They were just all adults that I don't remember if they were alumni or not, but they just felt compelled to continue to support our efforts, which was nice.
They weren't faculty sponsors necessarily.
A couple of them, some
Right.
of them were, yeah.
Was Earl?
Earl was faculty,
Was
I
faculty,
think,
yeah.
and so was Anthony Jemison, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Was faculty. And Mr. Tucker, of course, was faculty too.
Yeah.
So.
And how about the Gospel Expressions Association.
Yes, so GEA was kind of our landing space. A lot of the, again, thinking about a lot of the students that were here came from small and surrounding communities and communities throughout Texas. Faith was a real important factor in the Black community. And so coming to campus, I know a lot of the parents would be like, are you going to church? What are you doing? Are you staying connected spiritually? And so having the opportunity to join a choir, whether you could sing or not, I mean, you could join Gospel Expressions, show up for one practice, and you were a member of the Gospel Expressions Association. And so GEA was just another opportunity to bring together students and for them to have the opportunity to support each other. And so we would go out and sing at different churches. We used to sing at First Baptist Church here in San Marcos. I think like on third Sundays of the month, it was Student Sunday. And so we would try to get other students from around campus to attend and also sing the selections during that service. And we actually traveled a couple of times to other places to sing. Like we sang at a training or camp one time at UT. We went to Victoria. We sang in Cuero, I think, one time, because one of our choir directors, Jeff Campbell, was from there. We sang in Wharton, Texas. So we were just kind of all over the place and traveling, singing as a choir, a student choir.
But those weren't like competitions. Those
No,
were just like
they were just, people would
gatherings
say,
and
can you bring your choir? At one point, we were probably 35, 40 members strong. And so to have a Black college choir come and sing at your church, it was a cool thing and a way to support them. They'd give us a love offering. And so it was a way for us to also have some funds raised for the organization.
Fantastic. Okay, so the Association of Black Students, you would have obviously regular meetings. And do you remember what building you all would meet in? Was it like a student union or?
I think some of our meetings were in the student union. I want to say Kellen, but I don't think so. I think
The
it was
Lair.
in the student union, in the Lair.
Yeah.
And we had an opportunity at one time to meet President Hardesty during one of our meetings. And I think everybody knew who the president was, but never thought we would have any interaction with him. And we were having a meeting one evening. Usually meeting starts about 5:36, sometimes after after dinner. And we saw a dog run down the hall, and everybody kind of looked like, what was that? And then shortly after, a few steps after, he came and he poked his head through the door and he said, what's going on in here? What are y'all doing? What are y'all meeting? And we were just dumbfounded. It was just kind of surreal to have seen him and him to be so personable and such a nice person, because we thought, well, maybe we shouldn't be here.
He walked right in.
He
He's
the
walked right
president of
in.
the
Yeah,
university.
he walked right in. And he was very kind and he was very personable, and he did kind of sit down and talk, tell me what you're doing, tell me what's going on. And we felt like he was really interested, and we were all thinking, we wish he had more to tell him, we wish he had more to ask for. So he encouraged us to keep going and very supportive. And he said, well, keep me posted. He come by and see me. And we felt like he really meant that. And shortly thereafter, we were able to gain some interest with the student affairs office. And there were other organizations too on campus. I think there was a Hispanic organization, and there were other organizations like us, so we weren't the only one, but we just had that opportunity to meet him and spend time with him, and felt like it was really genuine, because after he left, it was kind of like, did that really happen? was he really here? But he was very personable and did I think probably open the door for organizations like ours, like Association of Black Students, to have more of a university presence with other university support and presence. So we felt like that maybe turned a corner for us, though. But just to meet him was extraordinary. And then we saw the university bring in more speakers, and we had more affiliations with other organizations. And we saw Nikki Giovanni came, and while I was a student here, and we met Lady Bird. She came through, and it was her daughters also had a presence on campus too, and we got to meet them in other organizations, other settings. So I'm pretty sure, and I think President Hardesty had a relationship with the Johnson family, with LBJ, and I think that's when probably a speaker series, I'm not sure if the speaker series started when he was there, but I think he encouraged to have more speakers here to interact with the students. So I think he had a big leeway in making sure that happened.
They had quite a few speakers from that series that came through. I would say starting in the 70s, perhaps, because I think that Gerald Ford spoke. Barbara Jordan certainly came and spoke.
Yeah.
You know, a noted civic leaders. But, well, do you remember any other musical events that happened on campus? Probably smaller local bands kind of thing.
Yeah, we did have a gospel explosion one year where a lot of different university choirs came as a part of, I mean, so it was not like famous musicians, but that was kind of a cool thing for the university to host. We did that at Evans Auditorium. And I don't remember the number of choirs that we had, but I just remember singing all day, that people were there all day singing. There were guest soloists as well as choirs that came and participated in that.
It was like a weekend thing?
It was a weekend, or maybe like a Saturday. And then another thing that was pretty cool, at the time, Ebony Magazine was a big, popular magazine in the Black community, and they would host what was called the Ebony Fashion Fair. They would send their models and have a fashion show, and so we actually hosted an Ebony Fashion Fair here as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that at Evans?
Yeah, I believe it was.
That was a pretty big deal.
It was a
Yeah.
big deal, yeah, and that attracted not just college students, but also people from around the community, people from Austin, because when the Ebony Fashion Fair was in town,
Right.
that was kind of a big deal.
Right.
Yeah,
And that was a national
it was. Yeah,
fashion show. It wasn't just something in
Right.
Texas. So that was a big deal.
was a big deal.
Yeah.
yeah.
How,
It's so funny because when you look back, now that I look back on these things, I think, how do we do that? That's just,
It
just seemed like we
yeah,
just did it. It didn't seem like a big deal. But now when I think back, I'm thinking, that's a pretty big deal.
It was.
absolutely.
Yeah, it
And, you know, again, with the support of, you know, leaders on campus, which kind of led to the event that we're sort of celebrating today, because you had been encouraged to invite some sort of national performer to come to campus, right? What do you remember about that?
I remember talking to student affairs, and we wanted to bring some kind of entertainer or a group here, and the organization didn't have a budget, but there were funds to use for that purpose, but we had to kind of sell it to student affairs. At one time we looked for a lot of not big artists, but kind of mid-frame artists, somebody we could afford, and we're in touch with a lot of people, but nobody was coming this way, coming to Texas. And we were excited for the opportunity, but did not know that we were going to get the opportunity that we actually got. So that was helpful. So I don't know, you ready to keep
Yeah,
going?
tell us how it unfolded to your
Okay.
best recollection.
It was 40 years ago, so.
Just a little gray on the matter.
But in our quest to kind of look for some entertainer or something to bring to the university, and this would be not just for the university, but for surrounding communities also. We were made known. It was made known to us that Whitney Houston was going to be in Texas. There was a date for a performance that she had in the area that kind of fell through, and we were kind of the offshoot, and somebody had actually called the university and asked if there was an opportunity for her to perform here, and that was just kind of unknown. At that time, she was new to the scene, new to R&B. She was, her popularity was spiraling, and it was kind of surreal that we could even have that opportunity. So the university grabbed it, and we grabbed it, and we were kind of all inclined to make sure that it was very successful. So that was, I mean, that was our lucky penny, our four-leaf clover, because none of us ever expected to even have, I mean, even be in her presence or even get that close to her, but we did.
And it was the very beginning for her.
It was the very beginning.
It was the first tour. She had been doing some engagements with established R&B stars, Luther Vandross and Jeffrey Osborne. The record had only been out since February,
Right.
and it took a while to start to grow. But she certainly developed the national profile pretty quickly after she
did.
played here at Texas State.
She did.
Now, you all had been to concerts before yourselves, just right locally. You'd seen, who'd you seen at the Frank Irwin Center? Maybe you'd go up to
Right.
Yeah.
to UT and see. Who'd you seen previously?
Janet Jackson, maybe. Prince, we saw.
Prince.
Mary J. Blige, I think, too, at one time. So that was, to us, that was bigger than that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was a big deal because the research I've conducted, this was her first headlining show in Texas, was here at San Marcos. When I came to Texas State myself as a student, I saw the Strahan Coliseum and I thought, well, that's a pretty great building. They should do concerts in there. And when I came onto campus, I asked somebody, an old timer, I was like, why do they do shows over there? He said, well, Whitney Houston played there one time. I was like, get out of here. When? And I couldn't find proof of it on the internet at all. And it wasn't until I did a search for, if you grab that annual there, Vicky Coffee. I did a search, and the university had just digitized Texas State's annual, the Pedagogue. And so it did say there that in the fall of 1985, that the Association of Black Students had hosted her appearance at the Strahan Coliseum, prepared her dressing room, and met her backstage.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the first place I found on the internet proof that this concert
it
had
happened.
occurred. When I came and joined the library and into the archives, I was able to locate the unpublished photographs because they did not appear in the Pedagogue.
Yeah.
If it had happened a year later, her picture would have been huge at the front of the
Full page.
Pedagogue.
Yeah.
Full page for sure.
Because it was a really big deal.
Yeah.
Let's see, I do have some stats here. Whitney came to town. First headlining show in the state of Texas, and she had two #1 hits on the R&B charts from this debut record. But 2 weeks after her appearance here at Strahan Coliseum, she went #1 on the pop charts with "Saving All My Love for You."
Right.
So by Christmas of that year, the album had gone double platinum. A lot of people received this record for a Christmas gift
Oh, yeah.
in
Yeah.
1985.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Here are 2 copies. Ultimately, it sold 14 million copies
Wow.
in the United States
Wow.
alone. That's not even internationally. So more than Diamond, 14 million copies. So you all got to meet her very, early in her career. And what were your impressions hanging out backstage?
So when I met her, I just thought she felt like another student. And when I look back on it, I think she was 2 years older than me, maybe 2 or 3 years older. And so she was very quiet spoken and soft, just real tender. She just felt like she was very tender. And I just remember specifically her brothers, one who sang with her and the other, I think Michael was like a manager or something. And I remember them saying, just keep everything pretty calm for Whitney. Keep the space very nice. It doesn't have to be extravagant. No drugs, no alcohol. I kind of laugh because I'm like, we're students. We couldn't afford drugs or alcohol. And so, but just to see how pure she was, it felt like her voice was very pure, but also her presence felt very pure and innocent. And you could tell she was kind of new at what she was doing, because she was very humble.
She was.
Yeah.
She was quiet, and I think it took a while to interact with her, but she was kind of reserved, and she's like, y'all are college students, and but you're Whitney Houston,
Yeah.
Right.
So that trumps us. But she was really reserved. She's very friendly, and she's very calm, like you say. But she was quiet. I think she wasn't sure how to really interact with us, and we didn't spend enough time with her to really warm up. But her brothers warmed up very quickly.
And the band members.
The band.
They were very excited
They were very
to be around a
excited.
bunch
They
of
wanted to know,
college-age
That they
students.
were.
what do you do here? What's going on? Where do we go? What's happening? But they did not allow her to fraternize like that. But they made sure she was put away and locked up back where she was supposed to be, and then they went out and explored. So, but it was I don't think anybody in the room might have been intimidated, but we were all just glad to be around her, and felt like she wasn't snooty or anything like that. She was glad to meet us too. So, and that, like I said, she had just started her career and she was spiraling upward, and she certainly wasn't the Whitney that we knew years later.
Sure.
But we got to see her really in the purest form.
Absolutely.
And her voice, I mean, if anybody was thinking that her voice was microphoned or played up,
Lip syncing
or
or
lip
using
syncing.
effects or whatever.
So
she
pure.
sat. I mean, she sang in that auditorium, and it just shook. Her voice was so strong and just so. I mean, it was powerful, and that's what I remember. I mean, it was. She deserved every accolade that she got, and it was this big voice coming out of this little skinny woman.
Yeah.
And we knew she was bound for greatness.
Yeah.
So
She belted it.
Yeah, we felt like we had just touched the stars.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and we
for
had.
sure.
So
Well, and it's true, because in the next year, boy, that record just took off. It kept spinning out singles, did very well. She did the next year a headlining tour, and she would play, Austin, Houston, Dallas, but I think that the venues were bigger.
huge,
The
yeah.
projects were
Yeah.
bigger until, and I think that she changed the landscape of R&B.
For sure.
Afterwards.
yes.
There would have been no Tony Braxton. There would have been no Jody Watley. I mean,
Right.
the closest comparison is perhaps because of the movies and so forth, maybe Diana Ross. But Diana Ross had a running start with the Supremes.
Right.
Whitney
Yeah.
came in
Solo.
and it happened pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even Mariah Carey had to go. I mean, steps behind Whitney.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah. I
And
don't think it really-
she's a phenomenal artist also.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
But
she
that-
definitely set the tone
She did.
Yeah.
for a lot of
She
R&B
did.
moving beyond her. And again, for many, many years, I think she was held in very high regard and very well respected. And that's the Whitney that I remember when we met her. She just kind of commanded respect in a very soft way, and then got on stage and just killed it. I mean,
Yeah.
her voice was just
Yeah.
like an angel.
It was
It's amazing.
it was so powerful.
Magnificent.
So powerful.
Also, M. Tomei was on the bill that
Yeah.
evening as well, right? There's images of that too, and I would love to have seen M. Tomei at their prime as well.
I don't remember them interacting with them as much, like the band or
Yeah.
anything, or doing. I think they kind of hopped in and hopped out. I don't. Do you remember much about
I
that?
don't.
Yeah.
Until we were talking, it didn't even dawn on me that they were. they were.
They may have been on stage when y'all were meeting and greeting with
They
Whitney,
could.
perhaps.
They
possible.
could have been. Yeah, they could have been. But they're a good group too.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
Yeah, we were familiar with them also.
Absolutely.
We used to hear that tune that was a hot ticket item at the firehouse. Juicy fruit.
Some of you may just know it from Notorious B.I.G., his cover
Yeah.
song.
He stepped on it.
Right.
Well, what year did you graduate, Arlene?
85.
85. So you were gone soon thereafter.
So yeah.
And Vicky, you stayed on campus and also earned a master's here as well?
I did. I graduated in '87 with my bachelor's. Was not ready to leave campus yet because I was having a little bit too much fun, and my friends were still here. And so I decided if I'm going to stay here, I might as well get another degree. So I finished and got my master's here in '88, December of '88.
And then Arlene, you also returned and served in a alumni capacity?
I was on the alumni board, and I was president in 2006 of the alumni board. And you have to, when you get onto the executive committee, you have to start at the bottom and work yourself up. So I was on the alumni board maybe 5 years, 5-6 years. So I believe when they first finished the library was one of the years that I served on the alumni board, and that was a big deal because West Campus, and they were carving that road to West Campus then, and I'm thinking, we need to catch a bus here.
It was like going to another town.
Another town. And we were in those old San Marcos Baptist Academy buildings. I mean, so we could not, I couldn't imagine. I'm thinking, where was the road? How did we get here?
I think we just cut through a few pastures and passed a couple of cows and we'd
but
get to West Campus.
It was still very new, and the university I think the university might have had acquired it early, but just started to use it at the time that I was a junior or maybe a senior. So I think I had a journalism class out there, but we had to catch a bus to go out there. But it was, and then of course that one year I broke my ankle, and you should not have a broken limb on this campus.
That does not work out well.
No. If I missed the bus, it was kind of like I was in big trouble. Yes, I was in big trouble. So, but it's wonderful to see the campus growth and still growing to this day. So I'm just amazed.
Well, you're welcome to come back anytime. Hopefully, we could show you around and you could explore not only this building, but campus at large. And I appreciate very much you making the time to come by and visit us here at Alkek 1. I would like to thank Annette Hammond from Alumni Engagement for actually putting me in contact with these ladies. Very grateful for that. And also thank you to Harley, Zach, Madison, and Chris from Alkek 1 and the Alias Studio. Thank you and good night.